Hey there everybody, welcome to this episode of Hack That Funnel Radio interview style. This is going to be really cool. Have you ever built a funnel, you get like 90% there and then it suddenly falls off the cliff? Or have you ever had that idea and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do all the pieces that are going to make it work? Our guest today is the true funnel geek that you've been looking for. He's literally so good at understanding everything. He's got ClickFunnels code written into his blood. He is in this, he understands it, and he's created systems around it so that way he can still have his life and help people one-on-one, which is what he loves to do. He learned how to test businesses so that way in 7 days he went from no money to making his very first sale. And then within 6 months, he made 6 figures. He literally tested this out and he knows how to do this to make this work. We're listening today to Nathan Shearer from Funnel Fix It. Now, if you're like me, you heard about him just a little bit. Maybe you heard of Funnel Fix It. Maybe you're like, oh, that's an interesting idea. You're going to hear about why this business was created, what really drove it, and how his passion is endued in this entire system. Plus how he helps agencies, he helps people who just want to build their funnels. He helps everybody in order to make sure that you finish and close that little piece of the gap that you have to making your funnel profitable. So what I need you to do is lean in just a little bit and listen, because this is some amazing advice from somebody who knows exactly how to not just build a business that blows up and does extremely well. This is how he helps other people build their businesses. This is really, really cool. Now, really quick, if you're on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, so that way you get notified every time we come up with a new interview and a new podcast. We're always dropping some value bombs. Make sure you get in on it.
Nathan, thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
Hey man, it's really good to see you, Ben.
So really quick, a lot of people may not know who you are. I know you because of Funnel Fix It, to be honest. And then I think I saw you at Funnel Hacking Live, just kind of in brief in passing when I had my booth. So who are you? Why did you get started in this? And what is your thing?
Cool, man. So I run Funnel Fix It, yes, but that wasn't in existence 3 years ago. As most of your audience would know, ClickFunnels hasn't been around that long either. But I got into the marketing game after I had my first successful business. A lot of people, when they discover some success in their business, something has drawn them to it. For me, it wasn't so much the business itself. I really enjoy business. But when I started working out, how do I grow this thing? I started looking at all the marketing stuff around, and that's what actually took my attention and what I really geeked out about. So I enjoy following a bunch of your regular sort of influencers. So it wasn't until I discovered Russell that I really thought, like, I really got into what marketing could do for your business, and the F word, funnels. So if I take that back a bit, I had my first successful business after several years of not really doing much and not really having much success. So I read I have the typical entrepreneur story, which is I read the 4-Hour Workweek and thought, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to hire a whole bunch of people from overseas. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be a really cheap business to run. And I don't know what I could do. And so I went on a journey of trying to find things to do. I'm a bit of a nerd. So I was building websites, and, if you build it, they come, right? So that never actually worked. So I kind of stumbled around for about 4 or 5 years, not really doing much, but doing a million things, until I read a book called The 7-Day Startup. So it's by an Aussie entrepreneur. And the premise of the book is kind of in the title. How do you take something from zero to a sale, which is real business, within 7 days? And that was like catnip to my entrepreneurial brain. So how can I get all these ideas out of my head and out into the world that actually do something, rather than all these years of me thinking that the 4-Hour Workweek was the way of the future, and actually validate. So after I read that book, I put the book down and went, this is it. I've solved the problem. I've cracked the code. And actually did get that to work. So I went and started a small e-commerce business, and I went from zero to sale in 7 days and 0 to 6 figures in 6 months.
That's awesome. So now, were funnels involved in that at that point?
At that point, no. So that was my first online success. That was my first dollar online.
Yes.
And what that did was actually open all the doors to marketing. So I have to say, the first Facebook ad for my business, my wife actually set up for me.
Ah,
And it was really, really good. I look back at the stats now and go, wow, she really, uh, my first Google ad was something I set up. So those were really painful introductions into what direct marketing could be. Um, but we sort of fumbled our way through, and I discovered that little things you could do, like I could write 10 blog posts and nothing would happen. And I'd write the 11th one and people start commenting about the second one. But wait, have you wrote all of these? What just happened? Uh, and things like posting regularly on Facebook and things like that. Sort of nothing, bang. And wow, how is this happening? And over time, I just noticed that the more you did, the more things happen. But they do take time. Uh, until we started working through things like the early days of Instagram marketing, and really nutting into stats, I got a bit geeky on the Facebook stuff and went, wow, this stuff's actually starting to really work. I could turn this dial up here and more money comes out over here. So I really fell in love with that process. I really fell in love with what do people really like. If I put up um, buy my stuff, they don't really have a lot of interest. But if I put up a problem solution set, star story solution, things like that, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time. Russell put a lot of the terminology around it for us and made it a lot simpler. Oh, that's what he's talking about, because we kind of already knew it anyway. And I really, really fell in love with the whole marketing side of the business.
that is awesome. And so your story is kind of similar to mine. I got started in this online business before funnels exist, before ClickFunnels was around. Um, and I was researching I was doing direct marketing right away. And I was trying to spend a whole bunch of money on ads and make it work on affiliate products. Remember the first sale I made? I made $297, but it was a painful. I think I spent about $2,000 to make the $297. And so I was like, oh, I
You
can't.
made money, right?
I made money, but I couldn't repeat it. And I was like, why can't I? And so I was killing myself because I'm an analytics guy. I wanted to be able to see everything. So I did that. And then Russell came along and there was just clarity. I don't know how to, like, touching ClickFunnels for the first time. And back then it was in beta and it was horrible. But even just working with it then, it just made so much more sense, and it made things clear. You could be the idea guy and turn that into an actual funnel at this point. And it worked.
And speed. I love the speed. I could go from idea to live in 7 days. So that really, really kicked things off for me. When I had finally discovered ClickFunnels, it again hit a lot of that catnip for me. I could go fast. I could validate these ideas. I could actually build things really quickly, and I didn't have to get stuck. I had been fighting with WordPress, all the things that Russell says. Yes, I'd been through every single one of them, and I'm a nerd too. I knew how this stuff worked. I know how DNS works. I know all this sort of stuff. So invariably fell into the ClickFunnels community. I think at the time there was about 20,000 people in there. I think it's 10.5x or something like that now. So 250,000 people in there now. So I remember the good old days. And I found that people were getting stuck. Now, I'd run meetups locally here, and I really enjoy helping people get unstuck, especially in their business. So people would come to me and say, I spent all week getting my business cards ready. I've got some business flyers going. I'm going to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce next month and see if I can get some books on it. What are you doing? What do you want to launch? I'm thinking about launching a supplement line, or I'm thinking about selling a widget. But okay, to who? Have you asked anyone if they want to buy that thing? Is anyone else selling it out there? Why do you need business cards? So I really enjoyed that part of helping small startups. I like to see people go from zero to launch if I can. So it was a perfect storm for me. I'd had that sort of a little bit of experience going through it myself. I'd had a little bit of success going through it myself as well. So I was able to translate it back to others, and I really enjoyed giving it back to the community as well. So jumping into the ClickFunnels community and finding people who were stuck with getting a domain connected, or they couldn't work out how the URLs were working over here, or how do I make the box go a little bit? Just take me 2 seconds. If I could just get into your account, it's okay. I'll just do it here. So, and they were letting us put little scripts on the Facebook group and things like that, and people were like, wow, this is like I was ready to go live, and then this happened, and now I can't go live, and I'm stuck. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And it was around about Christmas time when things start to calm down for the world. But for me, it means I've got a lot more space for my entrepreneurial mind. So sitting around and looking after the kids, and I can go, what if maybe I could do, and then I'm given some time to actually do something. I had a little bit of an idea, and I was harking back to the 7-day startup again, which the story behind the 7-day startup is actually Dan Norris. At the time of the blogging craze, when blogging was a massive thing, he had a WordPress agency, but he was struggling to keep the WordPress agency thing alive, like struggling clients, terrible software to work with, annoyance back and forth, and struggling overseas resources. He was trying to do the 7 days, the 4-hour work week style business, and it just wasn't working for him. It was really hard. So he found out there was a lot of people moving into blogging. He had a skill set of WordPress stuff, but they couldn't afford him. So he thought, well, really all you need is a little bit. You need a little fix here and a little fix there, and then your blog's okay. Everything's fine. So he offered, I'll fix everything you've got on your website for $60 a month. And every single person he asked said, how do I pay you? That will solve all my problems. So he validated his own idea. That was his 7-day startup that he got through. And I was having this conversation with someone around about that Christmas time, and they said, why do you keep going to your phone? What are you doing? Well, I'm helping people in this group. With what? I'm trying to explain to a non-nerd some nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
I said, well, it's kind of like WP Curve, which is this unlimited WordPress thing. It's kind of like that for ClickFunnels. There doesn't exist one of them, and I don't even think I got the sentence out. And I went, I'm going to GoDaddy right now to buy a domain because I've got an idea. So Funnel Fix It was born as the WP Curve for ClickFunnels. How do I get unlimited tasks for all these ClickFunnels people who are stuck, and all they need is one or two little thing, and maybe I can get them on retainer and help them out forever.
That is wonderful. So that's how Funnel Fix It was born. Now, who does Funnel Fix It serve now? Because I remember Funnel Fix It came out back when it's been around for a while. Like I've heard a lot of people use it. You've got a lot of testimonials and stuff on the site. Who uses it exactly? Is it just like one-time builds? Is it like what's your customer usually?
So our attrition rate is extremely low. I would say it's probably on par with ClickFunnels itself. So we get a lot of people that go, "Oh, I've joined the one funnel away, and then they quit ClickFunnels and they quit us," and that's kind of normal, and I expect that kind of thing. But I have been looking for the next level of people. So people have got some sort of success. They need us for peace of mind, and that works really good for me. But it really works for them as well, because they know that they've got a team that's available at their beck and call whenever they need something. I'm at a launch and the domain's not validating. Okay, well, there's going to be a workaround for that, and I know how to do it. Well, okay, you're the plumber that knows which tap to tap to make it all work. So I invariably look for clients that have some sort of success, because I know that I'm going to be able to serve them the best. But over the last 2 years, we've evolved, and we've been taking on agency clients. We've taken on a lot of 2 Comma Club members who hear about us in the 2 Comma Club X program and things like that. We've even got a few of the 10X members who use us as well, because they know that we've got the lion's share of the ClickFunnels experts under our hat. So they know that they can get access to me. They can get access to a bunch of our ClickFunnels gurus that build a bunch of things for other people out there. And it's a pretty small group. At the end of the day, when you look at it's like you look at the 2 Comma Club, most of them know each other. Most of them are doing JVs with each other. And a lot of them, if you've seen, are using the same funnels. So invariably, they want to use the same code. So a lot of the super high-end ClickFunnel groups and teams and things like that at the moment are extending their funnels. They are taking things like a really simple lander. They're trying to get it really, really optimized for speed, really optimized for mobile and conversions, because it is that opt-in workhorse that's working for them. It's a webinar, and they're going into EverWebinar. Now, the integrations and whatever webinars, forms and things like that are really janky. So if you've seen like Dan Henry, you've seen Sam Ovens, you've seen Kevin David, they're all using one way or another of like a direct integration. Some of those things, they could take up to 600 lines of code to get these things working. But once they're there, they're super fast and it's so much easier for the customer. Works on every device, that kind of thing. So we've now got a really broad range of clients. And about 6 months ago, 9 months ago now, a agency reached out and said, would you guys offer white label? And typically, if I can think how that would work really quickly, the answer would be yes for me. And for this one, it was. So our system is fully white labelable, and it always has been, but I hadn't actually chased that down. We worked out a plan to what sort of usage would make sense for that, and gave people their own white label service. So it's Ben's coaching clients. We'll help you with all of these funnels, and as part of joining my coaching service, we'll give you 3 months of unlimited tech support. You just email help@Ben, and we'll help you out. Now that email will get routed to us. We'll reply. It'll come from you, and that work gets done by us. So fully white labeled, no one sees that it's us in the background. So some people use it for support services. Some people use it in the back of their courses. Another agency mob reached out. They were training agencies. So they're out of South Africa. They reached out to us to set up their processes. They were going in-house eventually, but basically, can you set up our technical service? I'll white label you in first. And then once you've set it all up and we've staffed all the team and you've trained up all our staff, then you can move on. So that was a good engagement as well. So we've got agencies, we've got white labels. We also now do build packages as well, because we have that team of resources that know how to put it all together, and obviously access to the best funnels out there.
That is awesome. That's so cool. So when you started to grow your business, when Funnel Fixes started to expand, did you follow the 4-hour work week kind of business or plan at that point? Because you'd already done the 0 to 7, you understand how to make this work. Do you now follow 0 or 4-hour work week in order to create your team?
Definitely. So I because I'd read that first, it was something that came after some success. So I then knew that I needed the systems. I then knew that I needed different models for pricing and resourcing and all that sort of stuff. So I got there in the end to my 4-hour work week, and I can certainly I've proven to myself that I can actually run a 4-hour work week at the moment, because I got stuck on an island in Italy recently where we had no internet for 4 days, I think it was. So when I came back thinking that this guy would have fallen, everyone said, "Oh no, everything's good." Excellent. This is working well.
That is awesome. Okay, so what part do systems versus people play? Like how much time did you have to create the system? Because the systems are what set you free in your business. True. And then you're able to turn those systems over to project managers and the things, and then you just come and you make sure the systems are working. How much work did you do creating systems, like seeing as you're the guy at the top?
So one of my secret sources was the fact that I joined Dan Norris's mastermind. Uh-huh. It was very small. It had like 20 people in it. So we just have chats all the time. One of the things that I found with him when I asked him, what systems did you use for WP Curve? He said, I used Help Scout and some custom apps and a little bit of CRM. Okay. What else did you know? That was it.
That was it.
He gave me permission to simplify. So I knew that he wanted to be simple with his systems because of the stuff that he had with his agency was so hard. So when I looked at it, I thought, well, hang on a minute. All we do need is a really good ticketing system based on email, which is what we have, and a documentation system, because we want standard operating procedures for, I know ClickFunnels says to do the domains this way, and I know that Bluehost is different because they suck. And then I'm just going to write something that says, this is how you do all the domains. Now, someone says domains, we don't go that, then that didn't work. We just go straight over here. Now we know how to do the domain stuff, no matter which it is, really quickly, because we've done it 1,000 times.
Right.
So that standard operating procedure is about all we have as far as the deep systems, but it's a game changer. That for me, having all of that there, when someone comes and says, I need the custom integration for EverWebinar. We've got a document for it and a bunch of code, and it's all sitting there ready to go with little highlights about what to do, where, and how.
Mhm.
If people need new things, we come across something new. Oh, this doesn't work, or now ClickFunnels does it this way, or now the Zapier does it that way. And I don't know if you've seen the latest integration of Zapier; it's really horrible. We just go and update those things so that now we know that that's going to be fast. And when people come onto their shift, they'll see new updates to any of the documentation, and they'll know, oh, when I'm not getting hammered here, I'm just going to go over and see, well, what's changed. What do I need to know that's different?
So how did you do the hiring? So how did you actually find the people who were the ClickFunnels geeks and the gurus who just knew enough so that you could bring them in? And do you hire often?
I do. I hired 2 days ago. Uh, I followed the 4-hour work week, and I also followed the Gary Vaynerchuk hire quickly but fire just as fast model. What I found was when I was working with an agency, they had hired they had a very strict hiring process, and they were kind of sight unseen hiring people from the Philippines, but he was trying to systematize everything. I'm a human and a humanist. I like to talk to people. I'd rather sit down for a coffee and, like, how's your family and what are you doing? Why do you want this job? I'm more interested in those things than how many hours can I squeeze out of you and how much do you cost?
Yeah.
That's kind of relevant to me. If I want to work with you and you want to work with me, then we're going to work well together. So my best hires to date, and I now have 5 of them like this, have chased me, and they've been my best hires. I want to work with you. How do I work with you? I've been chasing you for a while. I finally thank you for accepting my friend request. I've been chasing you for years. Can I please work for you? Those are definitely my best hires, and I wish I could do more of those. I have to hire regularly, so I'm trying different ways to find people, and the best people usually come through some kind of connection rather than onlinejobs.ph or Upwork or something. Usually the lion's share of the good stuff is gone from there, kind of like buying a car online. So it's not the easiest thing to do, and I guess it shouldn't be. Finding really good humans is not an easy task these days. So I know there's plenty of them out there, and I would encourage you to offer positions if you are hiring and want to hire, or know that you need to hire a team. I would strongly suggest adding a funnel step on your funnel page that says we're hiring, and have people come to you. The ones that chase you down and go through hoops and fill out this and do this and submit that and give me a video. The ones that would spend time to show you through their work and tell you what they were thinking. What I thought here, and I know this is a little bit janky there, but they wanted that to move fast, and rather than here's my stuff and it's old. And I've had people that send me 10 ClickFunnels links with .clickfunnels.com to work they've done. Like, how do I know it's you? And 6 out of the 10 are broken links. Did you even check these links before you?
Oh.
So definitely, if you can, offer your positions available for hire, and have people come to you if you can.
No, so I've heard this from Russell now. I've heard from Stephen Larson. Like, the best hires that they make are the people who are in their group that you do not hire out of there or outside of that. That you want the people who are the crazies who are already following you because they want to be with you. They want to follow the movement. They're already bought in. Yeah. Cool.
They already know your level of crazy.
You're
They
right.
can already deal with it.
So funny thought I just had. Literally, you created like your own documentation on how to use ClickFunnels with all these other things. So you have your own support, your own support documentation, but it's for your internal team.
Correct.
Have you ever thought of allowing people to peek into that for a low fee, so that way you're like, you need to do that? Because that's amazing. That is crazy, and it's a lot of work.
It is a bit of a secret sauce though as well. It's why we're still in business. It's why we manage to keep people, because we know how stuff works. There are plenty of people out there that would offer my service for $1 less just to try that, and several people have. it comes down to who's going to be around the longest. I'm here forever doing this. I've built my team now. They're completely on autopilot, and they're the best funnel builders around. And I'm just constantly adding more to that and more people in to support it. More people, more in. The foundation is there. It's going to be there forever. So, I mean, we added things like build packages because literally I couldn't say no anymore. okay, I guess I've got all the pieces. I'll just put it together for you. So it's not something I'm looking at actively sharing out and about. But if you jump in the ClickFunnels group and look in the last hour, I've probably shared 50 of them for free anyway. So I don't really mind sharing the knowledge. But I'd have to think about how we could get hold of the secret sauce.
All right, so go on Facebook and just start searching Evan Shearer. What is he doing? So if I had a full ClickFunnels build, question about Funnel Fix It. If I had a full build, I had the idea, I had everything that I wanted, I knew the look, the feel, and I could talk to it and give you kind of a template or an idea, what package would you recommend that I fall into? Because you guys have your 99, your 167, your 497, then you have your build packages on the other side too. Correct. So what package fits this best when you have like a funnel build that you're ready and you can guide?
So it's a question that comes up all the time, and it's something that I've tried several ways to explain this. I've done a video on my page. I've done it in words. I've tried it in pictures. I explain it on calls with people. I've pretty much said, before you buy this, click on my calendar and talk to me, even for the $99, which just makes zero sense whatsoever from a business perspective. But
right.
It was me, my attempt at an ask campaign. How do I answer this question that 9 out of 10 customers has had before signing up? What it comes down to is we don't project manage for $100 a month. Now, I know that sounds very negative. Don't try and pitch someone with a negative. I know, but if you think about it for just a second, that should actually make a lot of sense. It's a task service, and funnel builds aren't tasks. If you put the things you have to do, even if you grabbed a template, that most of it, like it's a click and it's done solution. If you took a template that was done by someone like a Blake Newbar template, they're wonderful, they're gorgeous, and he thinks about everything. Most of it's done. I would much rather work with one of those than some Fiverr template. So if I even look at both of those, if I want to go from that template to live, there's at least, even on the Blake funnel, there's at least 30 tasks that need to be done. And the reason, the way logically to think about breaking up a task is, what screen do I need to be on to do this? If there's 7 different screens, I need to go to GoDaddy, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and and if they're unrelated, then you could probably have 7 people working on it at once. That's 7 different tasks.
Got it. So literally, so if you're going to do the funnel build, even if it's a template build, do a funnel build, don't do the tasks.
Correct. Unless you've done them before. If you've done them before and you've Trelloed it out and you know exactly what needs to be done and you know what your outcome is, and you can just check in to project manage, you can definitely use either the 167 or the 497.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you. So then you have people out there who are doing funnel builds, who are doing, trying to build their own business, or they're trying to do agencies. What is the one stumbling block that you see everybody hitting? Like everyone's running, and suddenly they're flat on their face. What is the issue that you're seeing?
From a marketing perspective, it sounds really cliched, but not knowing your customer. I think a lot of people are taking shortcuts when it comes to the marketing. I mean, I'm guilty of this myself. I found a way to collect up a whole bunch of startup businesses from a lead source the other day. I'm just gonna throw them in here and start emailing them. Wait a minute, I haven't even met any of these people yet. It was my number. All I went was straight to numbers. And if you do that, if you go straight to numbers, you're forgetting that there's people behind each of those numbers, and it's the people that are going to buy from you, not the number. So, yeah, I know it sounds cliche, but not knowing your audience is is probably the number one stumbling block I see from a marketing perspective. From a funnel perspective, I guess it's looking at. I'm going to go there. Listening to what Russell says. Russell says this will take you 5 minutes. It's not going to take you 5 minutes. It doesn't take him 5 minutes. I think Funnel Fridays has really been a fantastic boon for ClickFunnels and their software to show people I can get a launch done in like 45 minutes. But you'll realize he's starting from 90% done, and there's no way that thing's ready to go live anyway. So I know we might say, look, we can just click here and we turn the traffic on. That's not the case. I'm not trying to scare people off, but the fastest funnel slinger in the West, I would put myself up there with the best of them. I've gone from zero to business idea, no domain, nothing done. Basically, I need to get from I've got this idea, I've got to go buy the domain, I've got to add the creative, I've got to get a logo, I've got all that sort of stuff. So let's say it was a widget. Even if the widget exists already, I just need to fulfill it, something physical. I've done them, the fastest I've done them, and I timed it, and I really rushed, and the stars aligned was about 7 hours, and it was intense. If that was a normal person that was falling over getting domains done, that hadn't done certain things before, that was like, I've got to get a graphic designer to do a whole bunch of things, you're going to be 7 days minimum to get a simple funnel finished.
The number one issue then is we're such idea people that we rush into the build because the build is supposed to be so quick. And so we're skipping the number one piece, which is marketing. Mm-hmm. And like Stephen Larson was doing this at Offer Mind this year. He pretty much pitched the fact that as a marketer, it's your job to understand the market. That's it. Then take that and turn it over to somebody who knows how to do all the other stuff. It's like, it's not your job to turn the gears. It's your job to get the idea, figure out who it's for, how it fits, the messaging, all that, and then go have somebody else put all the pieces together. Because that's your job. That's it. And if you get outside of that, it's too complicated. You're pretty much saying the exact same thing, just in two different pieces. Yes, you have the idea. Go figure out who it's for. And when you do the build, realize it is going to take some time. If you're not the expert, turn to one.
Well, it definitely sounds better when Steve Larson says to outsource to places like Funnel Fix It, or when Russell says to it's the who, not the how. Like, find the people that know how to do this stuff. It says that in the One Funnel Away. Like, yeah, that's us. Hooray! We're over here. We'll be waiting for you.
Actually, when they came out with the new Platinum and it said Funnel Fix, I thought it said Funnel Fix It. I was like, what? No, for just a hot second. All right.
Well, you weren't the only person, because there was a broken link of one of the videos inside, and they emailed us and said, do you realize Funnel Fix It's broken inside of the new Platinum? Who's what, where?
Oh, that's so crazy. Okay, so quick question. We're coming to the end just about, is there anything like that you would want to share with somebody? Like, we're going to have 2 extra questions on the back end, but is there something that, you really want to share?
Everyone knows where we are. We're at funnelfixit.com. So you can grab me on Facebook. I'm up 24 hours a day almost. Happy to help people out. Happy to connect people. That's probably the number one thing that I enjoy doing. I do a lot of it to connect with people. I get to share my nerdy bits, and people like me for it. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Beautiful. Awesome. So we're going to ask 2 extra questions now from Nathan. But Nathan, thanks for being on. Appreciate it.
Cheers, man. Talk soon.
Dang, was that cool or was that cool, guys? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, but I actually do something very, very special. After the interview is done, I actually record 2 more questions. Those 2 questions spark a whole new conversation, and I record those, and I'm happy to give you access to that. All you have to do is go to hackthatfunnelradio.com. When you enter your email address there, I will automatically give you access to every single interview's 2 extra questions and the conversation that sparks off of that. Go to hackthatfunnelradio.com to get your access now.